Hi, my name is John, and I'm a Muggle about to watch Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So technically, this isn't the first part of this series. There was an introduction explaining how I've never watched Harry Potter in my life, and how I've never read the books as a child, and it just never was around my household or with my friends. Just wasn't a thing growing up, at least that I can recall. So I've decided to, as a 35-year-old man, since we're all home right now, take the time and watch the films and see how they stack up. This would be the first one. This thing came out in 2003. Let me double check that. Directed by Christopher Columbus, who did a ton of family films back in the day. Well-beloved 80s and 90s director. Interested to see how this plays out as someone who doesn't know the books. And first and foremost, I will say that I get it. You all wanted me to read the books first. Totally understand where you're coming from. It ruins the narrative by taking the imagination that you could have easily projected in your head, have this magnificent thought process of what these characters could be and what the setting is. And I was told that J.K. Rowling really did a great job emphasizing this in her books and cementing a world that you can absorb and make your own adaptations in your mind. And I understand that some of you have sent me in your texts links to a free audiobook that has just been released about it. Just coincided with it. People are warning me. Here's the thing. I don't read very much fiction. I've watched films, and I'm a much better visual and auditory learner. I have a hard time reading and staying with it. So seeing how I'm 35 and these are children books, I want to see how they actually are built and are framed up as an adult, myself watching these and trying to understand the mythos that's presented in film. That's the reasoning behind it. If I wanted to read all the books, I would have bought them all too, but honestly, buying Blu-ray versions of these films, probably the best way for me to absorb them personally. Just follow me for the ride, guys. It's not... Try not to be that critical. It's going to be hard because I'll view them as films, not necessarily and how they're made. And as a viewer who doesn't know that landscape and can't automatically adjust to it, it's going to be hard. I understand. Some of you are just going to just shut it off and not even bother, but I think it would be an interesting perspective from someone who doesn't have that knowledge in their head and can't project what I know onto what visually these stories are being told to people. Just, bear with me. Have fun. I did have fun with this. I really did. But I will go through my analysis. I have some thoughts. So I have watched the first film, which is the Sorcerer's Stone. I've already forgotten the title. This is how bad I am at this stuff. Yes, so Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Just finished watching it. I've got fresh ideas and some thoughts here, hoping you all could help me with. So the first scene of the film that we're shown is basically the three people that are sport cast, that will be sport cast for Harry and the students, which is not Gandalf, the lady from Road to Avonlea, I believe, and then I shouldn't have said that meme. So these three cats, they're going to be the backbone of, I'm assuming, Harry Potter's whole, evolution throughout this whole thing. So Harry gets dropped off at his front porch, right? As it is what we'll find out is his cousins, his aunt and uncle. He's dropped off as a baby. Now, I could be wrong, but I think later on in the film they show pictures of him with his parents, and he looks a little bit older, so I'm trying to understand that. I could have been seeing things, could have been the same baby, so it could have been the same kid, or maybe that could have just been a projection of, what could have been. I'm not talking about the mirror, whatever. We'll get there later, I suppose. Fast forward till he's like 11, and he lives underneath the damn stairwell.
Where's Child Protective Services? Harry's bred in captivity. Huh.
That's child abuse, guys. Little cousin doesn't care, jumps up and down the stairs, doesn't matter. His aunt and uncle are horrible people. So if you were 3 people with a background of magic who are all-encompassing, and educators that we find out, and people that take care of children on a regular basis, why would you leave them with horrible family members? And I know it's to show that doesn't have like a mean bone in his body, because he's with people, so he understands what's right and wrong, so he's pretty humble about it. I understand, that's the whole point of doing it. And we see that with like the zoo that Harry is gifted, apparently, going to that little aquarium thing and talking to snakes. Yeah, I don't know if this goes hand in hand with puberty or anything, your magic development. Don't know. He goes with his cousins, absolutely horrible. I do love that they're getting bombarded by the Hogwarts invitations. I do love that. I think that's hilarious. And the letters being sent continuously, that was great. So eventually you get to the point where they fed up with it and they ended to this weird isolated island castle. I know, it's an exaggeration. I'm going to keep saying this. I know it's a children's book, and I know it's meant to translate that into film, but it's pretty absurd. I thought that was kind of funny. You get Hagrid as someone you can probably relate to as a parental figure. I dig him. So Hagrid and Harry go to get whatever they need for Hogwarts. Just to prep, they go to all these stores and they get into the magic town of London, apparently, in a little weird corridor, kind of like Chinatown, but way more magical. And apparently everybody is from the mid-1850s. Everything looks like a Charles Dickens novel right here. Obviously, this is in modern day. You see everybody with minivans at Aunt and Uncle's house, and now everything just reverts back to the mid-1800s, because that apparently is the cooler way to stage a period piece. It's not, but it looks like it is. Doesn't matter because everything looks pretty good. I mean, I liked seeing all the stores inside. Going to the wand store was pretty cool. You get a little bit backstory about, how Harry got his little scar. More information about what will be Voldemort, the bad guy. You should not speak his name. Weirds me out, though, is that as soon as they go to the banks, goblins are the ones that are in charge of the money. It's a little weird because you don't see goblins doing anything else, just handling money. Little strange. In the Tolkien universe, you would see, dwarves always lust over riches, but they were always, hinted themselves as warriors. But these goblins are just caretakers of money. I don't want to hint at what I'm hinting at here, but this seems a little racist. Anyway, besides that, you get to a vault, and I think that's Warwick Davis. Probably wrong. As the goblin there helping him out. Regardless, the big thing I noticed was the fact that Harry's rich. Harry is the richest little white kid imaginable. His parents saved up for him, apparently. At least that's what we're told here. And he uses it to buy stuff for his friends when he's on the train ride, and he meets best friendo Ron and I almost forgot her name again. Hermione, who immediately comes off as the pompous know-it-all. Little kid, whatever. Ron is the younger kid with older brothers who seem wicked cool. I don't remember how many kids it is. After that, I immediately start thinking that Harry is the chosen one out of this, which will later come to be true in my head, further down the line. And then you get that, you get eventually to Hogwarts, which there are a lot of pomp and circumstance to make this place look really super cool, and it does. It looks really, really good. The films make it look pretty homely and amazing. Kudos to set designers and such. And then you actually get to know the whole not Gandalf, Road to Avonlea, and not Gimli being your backbone, and then you get some other professors that just show up. It's fine. You get to choose the houses. Looks interesting. There's very stereotypical houses here. As you have Slytherin, you've got Ravenclaw, I forgot them already. Dumbledore is the guy. See, this is what happens when I don't. Anyway, you got the 4 houses. And immediately Slytherin comes to mind because all the kids that want to be in Slytherin and who are in Slytherin look like they're tough, snobby kids. And of course you got Draco Darko with slick back hair. Of course you're going to be the snipey little know-it-all like the bad guy. But they're kids, man. They don't These are just visual cues that are making them into all these things. And of course, our three little friendos immediately are in the same house. Good for them. That's how you set up this stuff, I suppose. The biggest thing I've noticed with this is John Williams' score really starts kicking into gear hard during the whole which house you're in scene is. Really digging it. I think John Williams' score, I think it's one of the bigger highlights. So you get into good old Alan Rickman, Snape. Man, I know this is a kid's movie and they're based off kids' book, but my god, I've never seen such a red herring before in my life. I called it when I was watching this. It was so ridiculous how I couldn't help but laugh at it. I mean, he's dressed in dark, he looks like he's hiding something at all times. Pretty obvious. And then you get into a good percentage of time playing Quidditch, which is very confusing to me. Actually, before Quidditch, get them learning how to get on broomsticks, and I'm realizing that Harry is indeed the chosen one, because he's able to get on that broom immediately, and he's able to get up there. He's the natural athlete out of all of them, I suppose. Hermione obviously looks like the one who book smarts and the know-it-all, and then Ron just seems to be the heart and the strategist. Yeah, Quidditch, way too much time on this game that is, who cares, man? Who cares?
I don't really remember. I took a bludger to the head 2 minutes in. Woke up in hospital a week later.
Hagrid took something out of one of the vaults. Said it was Hogwarts business. Very serious.
Wait a minute.
So you're saying
Wait a minute.
that's what the dog's guarding. That's what Snape wants.
First of all, these are all teachers in an institution, right? Regardless of its magic, everybody should know what is in this institution. So if Snape is trying to get in here, this is just...
Bit early for that, isn't it? But I never get mad. Listen.
I don't get it. I just don't understand why they would have something in the school to begin with that is that.
It's a broomstick. It's not just a broomstick, Harry. It's a little...
I just don't understand why they're causing the possible death of children. In safety's sake, they're just not even bothering with it.
I felt the same way before my first game.
What happened?
So where's your helmets, kids? Your Quidditch sounds like a friggin' full contact body sport, bubs.
So how many are there 2 balls in play with this game? This is like me trying to figure out tennis for the first time again all over.
It's still gonna hurt, man.
Wait, so there's no subs?
There's no subs for keeper.
Just been watching the game the entire time? So basically the game can be endless. Say the other team just keeps scoring, 160 points, okay? Like, they go back and forth with the balls. So, they score 160 points, and the other team has 20. And if the whole time, all this work that these other athletes are doing on this field, and the Seeker on the other team just gets and wins and finds the little ball with the wings and stuff. So then they get 150 points, and now it's 170 to 160. They automatically win? Is that the whole point of this? So what's the point of playing the entire game if the Seeker would just get the little ball thing? I'm a little... This is a crappy game. One thing I noticed, we get to Christmas time. So we're like halfway through the school year, right? What boggles me is that this is an entire universe that has witches and magic, right? Since what was it on the wand? The wand shop said like since 847 BC or something like that. So if it's been around for that long and everybody's acknowledged that, and it clearly is a thing that exists in this universe, they have Christmas, which means Christianity goes hand in hand with all this. So here's my thought process on that. If Christianity exists, that means I'm assuming everything else that is in our known non-fictional universe exists as well, for the most part. That's an assumption. But if you're celebrating Christmas, and the kids don't go home for Christmas, this is a boarding school, I soon thought that if magic exists and Christmas exists, is Jesus a wizard? Don't know. This will never answer that. I'm assuming it won't answer that. You could probably fill in the gaps here. It's just something I noticed that was kind of, okay, sure, I'm acknowledging it. It's a thing. Moving on. Also, no family visits for Christmas. No one's visiting. This is the part where you actually get mail and gifts from family members. So they're off, and God knows wherever Hogwarts is some island out in Lord knows United Kingdom area somewhere. Whatever. You just go with it. Because, kids movie. I'm thinking too hard about this because I'm a 35-year-old adult. And I understand all this. There's a lot of talk here. There was a lot of points that were being made, a lot of storytelling things that, of course, since this is based on a book and you're truncating it down for a film. What is it, a 2-hour film? You're making it something where the majority of people that are going to see these films are the kids who have read these books and the parents watching them at the movie theater, I'm assuming. Me not reading the books, and I know everybody's told me how much I need to read the books. The whole point was to experience this as a 35-year-old man who knew nothing and hopefully just jump in. Was that, honestly, it's just an odd way of storytelling. It's truncated. The kids are jumping to conclusions about something that may or may not be happening. Like Harry going and getting the invisible cloak and then rummaging around trying to get information about the stone at the library, and then that just snowballing into Snape being a red herring for stuff, and then seeing the mirror and basically just seeing what you desire. That's fine, right? There's going to be little side quests. And of course, that's fine. Yeah, so they deduct this ridiculous plan, Hermione, Ron, and Harry. HRH. I'm going to just say HRH. The three musketeers here. They devise this plan. Snape is in charge of it. Hey, we need to go. There's a dog covering the whole thing with the Sorcerer's Stone, and that's great. You see the three-headed dog of Greek lore there, Fuzzy Wuzzy or whatever the hell it's called. You soon realize that they get into this big thing of like, okay, well, we're gonna find Sorcerer's Stone. That means we gotta go underneath. Okay, so we're gonna go through all these traps, and of course this is a children's book. This is what happens. You get a bunch of little traps that you have to maneuver to get past it. Like when you see Indiana Jones The Last Crusade and all the obstacles before you get to the Holy Grail. Same thing. And they're all like, Snape's got it. Oh, Snape's ahead of us, blah, blah, blah. Because, it's Snape. There's absolutely no evidence that Snape is doing anything. No one knows anything. There's a troll that came in. Okay, trolls apparently come in all the time. So says the kids and Ron or whatever. There's just like this big massive plan that's building up in Harry's head, which if you're a kid, you build up a big story in your head too, I suppose. But the adults are like, I don't know what you're talking about. Keep going on, kids. You're at school, blah, blah, blah. Because then, they're blaming Snape for all these things. But honestly, why would you be blaming a teacher unless you have like big ideas in your head and you're building this big scenario that the world is against you? There's no stakes to anyone else except for these three kids who have all told themselves that there's a thing that's happening. There's no stakes. There's no outer-worldly stakes. It's all happening. I almost said outer-worldly Snapes. There's nothing worth fighting for. These are all just kids with a story, with a bunch of things, and stuff guarding this other thing, this guarding another thing, which I guess you could watch this and think that there's judgments happen here. Anyway, so they get to the chessboard, and then when you realize that this is all fake anticipatory action that's happening, I'm watching this and going, I don't care. These kids have done this to themselves. At least that's how I'm viewing it. But then you quickly realize that these three kids, HRH, Three Musketeers, are doing this for themselves. They're not saving the world, they're just doing this to get to the bottom of something that they've concocted in their head that they need to do. I'm watching this and I'm realizing, okay, Ron's the hardened strategist, Hermione's got all the knowledge, because she's obviously saving their butts continuously, and Harry is just Jesus. Harry is just the Great White Hope. I don't know what to say this. He's the chosen one of some sort. I'm sure there's 8 films. There's all these books. That's the basis of it. Damn thing's called Harry Potter, for Christ's sakes. Anyway, you get this chessboard scene's pretty cool. I like it. It's fine. I love chess. Draco, whatever. Still don't care. I didn't talk about the whole Voldemort thing in the forests for being out late because whatever. I didn't talk about any of that. There's no... who cares? It's just so Voldemort becomes a bad guy until the end, when you realize that the kids are going through all these hoops and the chests and all this junk underneath that whole thing to get to the Sorcerer's Stone that does stuff, But like I said, who cares? So you get there, and it's not Snape, of course, the red herring, which is obvious throughout the entire damn thing. It is Quill? Quill. Anyway, he's the bad guy. Great. He's sure, he's Voldemort's lackey, not Snape. Don't care. I do want to acknowledge the whole symbiotic relationship, so Voldemort can be in some sort of host. That's pretty cool. Not Quado cool, because Quado was a good guy. It's Quado. Go look it up. But that was cool. Anyway, and also, Harry is the chosen one because he's got love in his body, which not Gandalf says to him after this whole rigmarole, and he defeats Voldemort's or Quiddle in that body and turns him into dust. Sorcerer Stone, and you're like, okay, where's Sorcerer Stone? They're like, we don't need it. I've taken care of it. There's no stakes here. Have I said that already? Oh, one thing I didn't mention, he senses Voldemort because, you know, he can sense the wand or the magic, the curse that's attached to him, so he can sense when that thing is Voldemort's coming. So the Sorcerer's Stone, it's just a thing to look forward to so the action can happen and the plot can move and there can be more adventures later on. It's just a device. It means nothing. So what bothers me at the end of this thing is HRH, they're down and out. What a horrible thing. They're feeling so bad, and not Gandalf nods to Harry and says, good job, even though fucking dangerous for no reason, man. You know, good job. So they're in the house thing, they get to the house points, and Slytherin obviously is one because they've got the most points. Hufflepuff, is that there? No. Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, and Dumbledore? Whatever. So the kids' house gets 4th place. That's fine. They earned it because, you know, they went out at night, they dicked around, whatever. They caused pretty much a lot of trouble for Road to Avonlea. I'm going to remember their names. McGonagall. So they caused all this problem. And then, you know what? Friggin' not Gandalf, Dumbledore, says, you know what? Ooh, you get points for your bravery. You get points for all that. And all the kids are like, yay, points. And in the end, friggin' Neville. Good for you, Neville. Good for you. I like that kid. Whatever. But the point being is that all of a sudden, 4th place gets the 1st place because they earned these points that have nothing to do with their house. So the kids leaving at the end of the night to do all this stuff, they're just trying to solve their own little worldly mystery. But they're adherent to their house. They're with their group of people to give them a sense of belongings, their dorms, right? To bring honor. So there's a driving force for you. But apparently these kids don't give a shit about their house because they're dealing with their own little subplot that only matters to them, that no one cares about. They gotta learn their Witcher wizard schooling stuff. They win, right? Snape's all like, oh, we love points. I'm like, so I'm 50-50 split on this because honor means a lot, and I believe in family, and I believe in making sure you watch out for those around you. So if you're trying to instill honor, honesty, and all these things into whatever clan, why then do you throw caution to the wind for everyone else? Neville's right, man. He's supposed to stand up, but he only gets 10 points. Everyone else gets a bunch of points. Neville's the only one doing shit right. Good on you, Neville, because the points mean nothing. That's life, man. You don't have to actually earn points for your house and take pride. You can just do whatever you want. Hopefully, you're going to be okay with it. But you know what? They're okay with it. You know why? Because Harry Potter is the Jesus figure. So those are my thoughts. First thought is good start. So points. My pluses here. Great casting. Great acting with the kids. There's a couple little weird scenes, but overall good acting. Good to see they all got along, apparently. Good to see John Cleese doing anything, and also Alan Rickman doing anything. Totally okay with that. I think Warwick Davis is in this one. Everything looks great. John Williams' score is amazing for this. Totally down for it. The negatives are, and this is purely from source material into a film adaptation, which, you know, we've seen this with Lord of the Rings. We've seen this with all these things. Lord of the Rings is a good example. Hobbit's a bad example. Hobbit, too thin, spread out. Lord of the Rings, too much, compacted. I feel that this is exactly what's happening with the Harry Potter thing, is that you're putting a lot of children's thought process and storytelling into a truncated item to be easily digestible from others watching. And the people that are seeing this have already read the books, presumably. So I get there's spotty storytelling. The passage of time is a little weird, though you get that time goes by. Oh, yeah, and you're not allowed to practice magic while on break? What the fuck's that about? How are you supposed to get any good? No, you're just given it, so you learn about it, but then forget everything in 3 months. I don't remember what I learned when I was in grade school. I don't remember anything I learned the previous year. It's like, if you're gonna be good at stuff, man, you gotta work at it. You can't just say, don't do magic at home while you're away. That's stupid. Also, Harry says he's not going home, which is good because my aunt and uncle are a bunch of dicks, man. Those relatives, I wouldn't want to go back to them. Child services, call them up. It's a good start. Interested to see where this goes. I'll do the next video and upload it as soon as I can. I don't think there's a schedule for this as of yet. I've got the whole month to do this, and I'll probably film it all in a short period of time. So thanks for watching. Click the subscribe button and the little bell thing. I'm not going to put the graphic up. You guys know what to do with this stuff. Hope you enjoyed a Muggle watching Harry Potter.